Hello and welcome to a brand new year and a brand new look to our show, Politics Today on Channels Television. What a great way to start the year 2015, the big election year and a very critical year too for Nigeria. In about 6 weeks, Nigerians will march to the polls to elect their leaders in the 5th general election of Nigeria's uninterrupted democratic dispensation, which started in 1999. Of course, most Nigerians woke up on the first day of the year 2015 to President Jonathan's New Year nationwide address. The president talked tough, vowing to root Boko Haram and deal decisively with people who attempt to foment trouble before and after the elections. He then warned politicians against violence while promising free and fair, credible elections, and that every vote will count. On the economy, President Goodluck Jonathan said his government will continue to lay a solid foundation for a robust economy. We bring you now some of the highlights of the president's New Year message.
Tribute to the gallant officers, men and women of our armed forces and other security agencies who have been in the forefront of the war against terrorism and violent extremism in our country and sub-region. I also commend all Nigerians who have remained vigilant and cooperative with our security agencies in the fight against the common enemy. We are re-equipping and repositioning our armed forces to enhance their capacity to win the ongoing war against terror and insurgency, being very conscious of the inherent perils of our over-reliance on income from crude oil exports for national development. We are focused on accelerating the diversification of our economy. The non-oil sector, which has grown by an average of 8% in the last few years, is now a major driver of growth in our economy. The 2015 national budget, which is now before the National Assembly, is targeted at deepening our effort at becoming a non-oil economy. Given the challenges that have characterized some previous electoral contests in our country, the eyes of the world will certainly be on the conduct and outcome of our 5th post-military rule general elections. I reassure all Nigerians and the international community of our firm commitment to free, fair, and credible elections. Let us put the nation and the people first. Let us all conduct our electoral campaigns with the highest possible decorum and civility towards political opponents. Let us give INEC the fullest possible support and cooperation it requires to conduct credible and violence-free elections in 2015.
The president sent out his New Year message. The chairman of the major opposition party, the All Progressives Congress, Chief John Oyegun, also sent out his New Year message while congratulating Nigerians for making it through the new year. Well, Chief Oyegun made some very strong statements about the February 14 presidential election. A portion of his message and the text of his statement reads, and I quote, "As a party, we assure you that we will congratulate President Goodluck Jonathan and the People's Democratic Party if our presidential election candidate and the party are defeated in free and fair elections and will not go to court. However, as a party, we wish to reiterate that we would not hesitate to consider forming a parallel government if the 2015 elections are rigged either by use of security agencies, police and military to harass, intimidate and cajole voters or through the use of a compromised independent National Electoral Commission." End of quote. That's according to Chief John Oyegun. Well, the race ahead of the 2015 general election appears to have started in earnest. These are the names of the 11 presidential candidates and their running mate. Well, we have Tunde Anifowose Kelani. For the AD, we have Rafiu Salau and ADC Nani Ibrahim Ahmed. And for the ACPN, Ganiyu Galadima. And the APC, Muhammad Buhari. COA has Comfort Sonaya. And HDP, Ambrose Halbert. NCP, Martin Onovo. And PDP, Goodluck Jonathan. UPP, Chekwaz Okori. And UDP, Godson Okoye. Those are some of the 11 candidates, the presidential candidates actually, that you have seen them. Well, we have seen some very interesting scenarios play out in the run-up to the election. And the main opposition party, APC, when they were picking their presidential, vice presidential candidate, we saw some very interesting scenario play out. It took about a week before they could come out with a presidential, vice presidential candidate. Well, at long last, Professor of Law emerged being a most preferred out of the big names the party had lined up for that position. Well, Professor Yemi Osinbajo has since been picked as the running mate to General Muhammadu Buhari. And tonight, Professor Yemi Osinbajo joins me on the program. Thank you for joining us on Politics Today.
Thank you very much.
Well, let me start by asking you tonight, did your emergence come to you as a surprise?
Well, yes, it was quite a bit of a surprise because, as you know, there were several very, very well-qualified people who were mentioned at various times. So it was somewhat of a surprise to me, yes.
Surprise, because I mean, for some of us we've heard a lot of names, but your name seems to have entered into the list early enough. But the first time you saw your name, maybe online and whichever way, how did it come to you? Do you ever think that you're going to get it?
I just dismissed it. I didn't even bother to consider it. I just dismissed it.
You never thought of yourself being in these kind of shoes?
No, I never really thought that it would. I never thought it would happen, no.
Do you see yourself as a politician now?
Well, I am now. I am a politician now. I mean, anyone who is seeking electoral votes in a partisan political contest is a politician. So that's exactly what I am now, yes.
Well, as a professor of law, I mean,
Yes.
your work is out there for people to see, and you're respected also religious-wise as a pastor of your church. You have a lot of followership. Your members revere you so much. But now, do you think that a lot of people will have anything to hold on to for you now as a politician?
Well, for me, I think that there is really no difference in the roles that I play, either as a professor or a politician or a pastor, because all of these roles must be played in the same way and with the same motivation. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, the reason why I function as a pastor is essentially because I want to touch the lives of as many people as possible with the love of Jesus Christ, which of course means that we must, in every situation that we find ourselves, be able to help the poor, to be able to help those who can't help themselves, to stand up for justice, to stand up for what is right, and all of those things. And I believe that that will be my role even in politics. So for me, it's all of the same. There's really no difference. And I think that if I express myself in that way and show that that is my motivation, I think that people will learn that there is really no difference between any of these roles, so long as your motivations are correct. And in this case, my motivation is the same.
One would think that it's perhaps because you've been Attorney General of in Lagos. One would think that maybe you're taking for granted the essence of politics in Nigeria and how tricky it could be. This time around, you think church business and business of politics aren't the same?
Yeah, I don't see anything as church business, if you see what I mean. Because really, even in my role in the church as a pastor, my major message is that the church must be without walls. The church must be out there impacting society. It must be out there touching the most vulnerable, touching those who are seeking justice. That, so my role even in the church, and that really is in my view, is what the church is all about, is what pastoring is all about, is what the message of Jesus Christ is all about. It's about touching the least. It's about touching those who have no way of defending themselves and have no way of helping themselves. And I think that that will be my role in politics. That's also my motivation in politics. Politics offers the best opportunity to touch millions of people in a way that I could never have touched them as a pastor or as a professor, Yes.
I'm very sure you're aware of some of the bad names politics have been called in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
And for someone like you who seems to be wearing some untainted garment. Politically, you have little or not so much to look back to when we talk about politics. But then, are you ready for that, the task? You've not been in mainstream politics, but are you ready for the task of being in Nigeria's politics?
Yes, I am.
Not only politics, in Nigeria's politics.
I'm all set. I'm all set. I mean, you see, the truth is that one has to be humble enough to know that one doesn't have, one is not, if you like, the way you describe me is as if I'm some kind of, I don't know, gentleman with a halo on his head. You know, I don't think that I quite fit that description. But I think that one should be humble enough to accept that if you want to lead people and you want to do things that are radical in terms of that kind of the kind of leadership we want to put forward, there'll be several people heckling, several people saying don't do it, several people trying to pull you down and trying to stop you from doing it. That's just the nature of the contention between good and evil all the time. So I'm prepared for that. I'm all set for that.
Because I think one of the things that bothers the mind now for you as a person, one will be looking at the fact that politicians in Nigeria sometimes are known for to say one thing today and they do just exactly a different thing tomorrow. With your pedigree and the kind of integrity you're known for, you're ready to play that kind of dirty game.
No. First, I think that every politician or every person involved in public life, you know, must define themselves in their own way. I don't accept that every politician is a person who says something and does another. I don't think so. I think there are many good examples of politicians who stand by their word, who are known for their integrity. I certainly intend to be one that will stand by my word, you know. And frankly, you know, it's not just politicians who don't stand by their word. There are lots of people who don't stand by their word. I think it really comes down to the kind of person that you are and the kind of thing that you want to achieve. I think it's important to stand by one's word. So that one will be trusted, so that one will be able to go the distance. There's so much to do, such a long way to go. And if one is to be taken seriously, then one must do what one says. So I'm prepared to be different. If that's the general run of things, I'm prepared to be different.
You think it's not going to be a tough call to be different at this point that you are now?
Well, always it's a tough call to be different, always, you know, and I don't think that it will be any different from trying to be different in whatever one does. And that is so, whether you're a politician, you're a professor, you're a lawyer, you know, all of the things that we preach, all of the things that we say we'd like to be. We preach integrity, we preach transparency, we preach all of those things, you know, and we aspire, we work hard to at least see that we measure up to what we preach. It's tough, always tough, because you have to make those calls every day. Yeah.
All right, then. Now, we quickly go on a short break, and when we return, I will be asking my guest, Professor Osinbajo, how much he knows about his principal, the presidential candidate of the APC, General Muhammadu Buhari. Join us again.